Gatherings like this. Actually, we began having Women Day, where we would come and have speakers. Our first workshop was about HIV. At that time, there were a lot of women in recovery, and they were dealing with HIV, and it wasn't comfortable with talking about it. So at the women's gathering, what we realized is that there was a lot of us infected with HIV. There was more of us that was in abusive relationships. Some of us were in uncomfortable relationships and we weren't talking about it. We didn't, and some of us were in uncomfortable relationships and didn't understand that they were uncomfortable. But we were staying and we didn't have a place to talk about it. But there was something that was more prevalent than anything else in this, in our gatherings. And that was that most of us had dealt with trauma. And a lot of us had dealt with child sexual trauma. So I want to ask a question. How many people in this room know somebody that's been molested? By show of hands. No, nobody back there knows somebody that's been molested. I asked a question. Anybody here? Do you know anybody that's been molested? Yes. Put your hand up. If you know somebody that has experienced child molestation, can you just put your hand up? Or yes. I need to talk to her from my family. So that's how the safe conference was developed. It wasn't developed just because of that. But what happened is that for most of my life, my name is Eva. And I'm a product, I'm a survivor of child molestation. And because of that, I made a lot of bad decisions in my life. And I wasn't raped, I was molested. So I could imagine the decisions that make the people that was, actually raped. But I had no boundaries, no self-worth, no self-respect. I medicated the feelings of self-hatred with drugs for a long, long time. And I caused myself a lot of harm. And it's not until I got into the graduate program that I'm sitting in one of the classes and we're talking about trauma. And I realized that I had reacted to trauma all my life. Part of my story was getting into relationships with people that I felt could protect me because I never felt safe. I had a big issue with safety. So I wanted somebody to protect me. And I also had issues with anxiety and depression. And I didn't know where that stuff had came from. And I found out in the master's program that it came from the trauma that I experienced as a child. So let me just say this. There are so many different kinds of traumas. There's regular trauma. When something happens, like it can happen to somebody outside. Right now, if we see a car accident, it can be a traumatic event for us, right? And we can relive that. They talk about post-traumatic stress disorder. It can be a result of seeing somebody else get into, an accident or anything like that. And then they got acute trauma. Acute trauma is usually having the experience of seeing an accident and then breaking your leg, in your own car accident. It's the multiple things happen. And then they have complex trauma. And complex trauma is something that every minority on this planet can identify with. And it's like kind of swept under the rug with us. And complex trauma is a direct result of having trauma from something outside of you, having trauma that you experienced in your life, and then having with trauma with betrayal. So why do I say that everybody in here can identify with complex trauma? Wow. Come on.
Because everybody experienced it. throughout my career, how we treated being women, how we are like, and how we treated like subhuman, and how our government, like doesn't treat us well. And a year ago, it was like every month I saw somebody like my nephew, my brother, my father being killed and nobody being held accountable. Wow. Right. So, but I had to go to work and act like everything was okay and nothing was hurting or bothering me. But to go through that kind of realization of how the devalue of somebody of color, it's a painful thing. And when they tell me there's no such thing as racism, but I'm supposed to, I'm not emotionally mature enough to understand when somebody is treating me a certain way.
It's generational.
Being 24, well, I could say being 16 and realizing that, my father tried to molest me, twice, and this was the closest person and just remembering that when he took me to the Virgin Islands, that I was 7 years old, and I just remember screaming, and then my grandmother took me out of his head, you know what I'm saying? And then being like an older woman, young lady, and then him trying to do it again, because he was babysitting us while my mother went down south, you know what I'm saying? And like having to take my cousins with me when I went to his house because he was a financial person, and I was afraid to be with him by myself, and not realizing how that played a part in my life.
That's a great example of what complex trauma is. Complex trauma is the process of experiencing trauma by somebody that's supposed to hear it. And in our cases, living in this country, there's not one of us that can't identify with complex trauma. But nobody tells us this stuff. The reason why this workshop has been developed is because I know that everybody's not going to sit into a master's program. Everybody's not going to go to graduate school. But there are some results that happens as a result of complex trauma. And check this out. Let me just say this to you guys. You don't have to have experienced any of that stuff in order for it to happen. Because complex trauma is something that happened to us generationally.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what they don't talk about is the predispositions that we all carry. You ever look, if you look in generations of families, you have all of a sudden one of the great-grandkids that come out looking just like the great-grandmother. You'd be like, oh my God, look, she looks just like, because you still carry them genes. So we still carry the genes of slavery. We still carry some of that stuff input into our spirit and our DNA. And it comes out in our thinking and the way we process. It's a sister called Joy DeGrow. And I please, if you do anything, you can YouTube her. And I don't like to read anymore. I read so much when I was in school. I don't like to read. So I listen to my stuff. I like audio. I like to listen. So I Joy DeGrow. DEGRUY. Is that right? And she'll talk a lot about post-traumatic slave disorder. But she also talks about the predispositions that they don't tell us about. And oftentimes, and even when you look at our DMS, and it talks about the DMS-5 is the psychological, medical terms. I'm not saying the exact words, but it's where they put all the medical terms. They take out certain things so that they're not accountable for what they've done to us. And that's fine. Listen, I'm not one of them people. I'm not a black and white person. That's not who I am. I have gotten help and love from all people of all races. So I think that we spend too much time on this race stuff. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying in this case, we have to be aware that we have predispositions of certain things that caused this to happen, and I think that's what makes me so forgiving when it comes to the molestation. That's where I found the ability to forgive. Because I understand that there was a generational breeding. We used to be bred. And there was nothing for a son to have sex with their mother, because it was somewhere in the 1800s they stopped slavery. They stopped the slavery from coming from Africa. They stopped it from coming. It was voted that they couldn't come, although they continued to have slavery on this soil. So in order for them to keep slaves, they began to breed us. So it was nothing for a mother to have sex with her son and a father to have sex with her daughter or her uncle with her niece. So if we know that this is something that happened to us for 400 years, and we know that we have a predisposition of this stuff, how else are we going to stop it unless we're educated by it?
That's right.
The only way we're going to stop it is we start having conversations about it.
That's right.
So we're gonna play a little bit of that. Look at my brothers. Oh, there will be men coming in to this workshop. This is a male and female workshop. The workshop part is for everybody. It's for the community. Check this out. We are the only 501c3 in the state of New York that have co-ed sexual abuse workshops.
Wow. That's right.
The only one. When I wrote my first grant, I got my first grant last year. I got approved for 2 this year, and then they told me to write another one.
All right, grant writer.
They told me to write another grant for a Katniss grant, and I'm waiting for the approval. Let's pray for that, so we can get this information out to our community. So let me just tell you why we're gonna make this a little interesting. But I want to tell you why I decided to have this workshop, or co-ed workshop, after praying on it. Because I understand that if our men don't have this information, if they don't know what happens to us as a result of, how would they ever know to stop? How could we stop it if we don't educate all of us together? How can we stop the behavior? We have to, somewhere along the line, we have to have this real important, this real sensitive conversation amongst ourselves. Okay? Did you guys eat? You brothers, y'all can get something to eat. The sisters will fix y'all something to eat. So now we're going to find out how much we know about this thing called sex. Anybody got pens? I don't have pens. I don't have grant money yet, so you're gonna have to help me do this workshop. Yeah, I want everybody to have a part.
Grant writer.
Yeah, yes I know. Yeah, give me a minute. Just give me 1 minute. I'm gonna give you. It's gonna be participation, but I need all of you guys. I need some monitors. I need 2 monitors. Can I get a monitor? All right, there's one. Give me another monitor. I choose you. Yes. Go up to the front. I need a monitor.
What does a monitor do?
Proud of
A
you.
monitor is going to, I'm going to tell you what a monitor do. If you want a monitor, help me monitor. Here. I need some help from my hungry brothers. They is not playing. They can't. I need monitors. No, I don't need monitors. I need participation. Here.
It's no pork, nothing.
Everybody has a card? Everybody has a card. I need who don't have a card. I need you to do something else. Well, a lot of people don't need cards. Okay, and everybody is good? So we're going to give you 1 minute, Josie. I need for you guys to count. When gentlemen have to write on the card, you can count. Yeah, we don't need them. We don't need them. We found another way, okay? All right, we getting ready. You're ready? I need for y'all to listen up. Okay? Y'all gonna listen up?
Yeah.
Because we got a sex offender that's standing in front of us that's gonna tell us a story about what he did or he did and how he did it. So, sex offender, go ahead, do your speech.
All right, so I'm gonna go back because I haven't experienced this, but I've worked in the field and people have shared this with me. So I'm a 35-year-old male who molested.
So I need quiet and I need y'all to participate in this.
I'm a 35-year-old male who molested his daughter at 5 years old.
I molested my daughter and you're gonna be him.
Oh, I'm him.
You're him.
All right.
You don't know nobody, you're him. Let's go.
All right. I
Wait,
molested.
let me just say this.